This is my book, The Mirror of Motivation, the self-guide, the self-discipline for you to find that drive and ambition in your life that you want to tap into. Get this book free. Go to the link below and I'll ship it to you worldwide.
DreAllDay.com.
Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. I want to talk about proving yourself. You know, when I posted this video on IG like a month ago, probably by the time you're hearing this. When I came out of college, I went to a Division III school. I knew I wanted to play ball overseas. Problem was I didn't have anything that could help me get in. I didn't have a ticket to get my foot in the door. Meaning, for those of y'all who don't know, if you want to play basketball somewhere, you can't just walk up to a gym and say, hey, I'm good, I work hard, I can do this and that, and talk about what you can do, because nobody wants to hear that shit. They want to see, do you have some proof that you can play? You got a resume, you got some stats, have you played somewhere, do you know somebody who we know, do you have some footage? I didn't have any of that. I had stats, but my stats weren't that great. I had played at a D3 school, which meant even if I had great stats, it's like, who you get your stats against? You're playing against D3 players. Most of them aren't pro level players, so it doesn't matter. And I didn't have footage. This is before everybody had a camera on their phone. This is VHS time. So I knew that I needed to get some proof in order to get myself in the game. So I went to an exposure camp a year after graduation, got footage of myself playing. That footage, I got an agent. That agent helped me get on overseas. And that footage also started my YouTube channel back in 2006. So this is actually that footage, that VHS tape started 2 careers for me at the same time. But the point that I'm making here is, that's a smaller point and a bigger point, which is I knew I needed proof before I could go anywhere with basketball. So I didn't go, when I got out of college, I wasn't going to agents and teams and saying, hey, sign me to a contract, give me a chance, because I didn't have anything to show. I didn't have any proof to back up my talk. So I didn't even start talking to agents and teams until I knew I had that proof in my hands. And any of you seen the movie Training Day? You know, Denzel Washington, I forget what the other actor's name was, but his name was Hoyt. And you know, he was like a training to become like what was it? What were they like? Narcotics cops or whatever they were. And Denzel was the guy who was supposed to be training him for that day. And Denzel was this dirty cop, and he has him smoking weed. It wasn't even weed. He had him smoking something, PCP, whatever it was. He had him smoking, doing all this dirty stuff that he wasn't supposed to be doing, right? And there were multiple times during that day when Denzel, the dirty cop, was doing something illegal, and the other cop, Hoyt, noticed it, and he would say something to him, or he would give him a look to let him know, like, yo, you know what you're doing is not right. And Denzel would say one thing to him. I think I heard him say it at least twice in the movie. He said, it's not what you know, is what you can prove. And Denzel's point was, yo, even though you saw me doing this stuff, you don't have it on video, you don't have it written down anywhere. If we go to court and you try to snitch on me, you're not gonna be able to prove it. You're gonna lose your case. So it doesn't really matter that you know about it. So you might as well shut the hell up. And the point that I want to get to y'all in this video is, it's not about what you know. The same thing Denzel said. What you know does not matter. What you're capable of does not matter. What you want to do does not matter. What you would do if you got the chance, if somebody gave you an opportunity, if somebody put you on, all that talk that people do about what they could, should, would do, if, none of that matters. What matters in life is what you can prove. The results that you can produce in the court of law. Any of you work in law or know anybody who does, you know, or they know that it ain't about what actually happened. It's about what can be proved in the court of law. And if you can't prove it in the court of law, then you're going to lose your case. I mean, think about somebody like O.J. Simpson. A guy is famous for, I mean, so many people, damn near everybody that I've heard talk about O.J. believes that he committed a double murder. Yet, it's funny because people talk about him like he's a murderer, but I'm like, yo, he actually beat the case. Now, I'm not here to argue whether he did it or didn't do it, because I don't think we'll ever really know unless OJ comes out and says something different from what he said in the past. But the thing is, they couldn't prove it. The prosecutors, they could not prove that he had committed that murder, and therefore he was a free man. He went to jail for something that had nothing to do with murdering people. But the point that I'm making here is, again, the bigger point is, in life you got to prove things. We can talk all day about who can do what, who's better than who, what you think, your opinions. None of that matters when it's time to add up the stats at the end of the day. And the stats at the end of the day are proof. That's why, you know, Jay-Z had the line. He said, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Now, numbers can be made to lie in different ways. You leave certain numbers out and use different numbers to prove your points. And nowadays we have people using this phrase fake news when people point out stuff that's facts, and it could be factual, but if you leave out some important facts, you can still be telling the truth, but also not the whole truth. But again, the bigger point, what can you prove? Of all the skills that you have and all the abilities that you have and the potential you believe you have within you, you personally, how much of it have you proven so far in your life? And I want to tell you the biggest tragedy that could happen to any of us as humans is that we have stuff within us that we know we're capable of, that we know we could do, achievements that we know we could achieve, yet we never prove it. Yet we never actually do it. So we got to sit here and watch somebody else do something that we should be doing. Watch someone else achieve something that we should have achieved. Watch someone else live a life that we should have lived. The problem is we never proved it, but they did. They proved it. And we weren't, either we didn't have the information, which I highly doubt. We didn't take the initiative. This is a big problem for a lot of people. We didn't have the courage, another big problem. We didn't have the discipline to move ourselves to action, another big problem. So therefore, we never achieved the thing that we wanted to achieve. Proving what you're capable of is what people will pay you for. That's what people will remember you for. That's how you make your name matter. You know, these days people like to use this phrase relevant. Or you want to be relevant, you got to prove things. And if you want to remain relevant, then you got to keep proving stuff. And you can use whatever words you want. I don't really like to use the word relevant because it doesn't really mean anything. If you're calling somebody irrelevant, then they're relevant because you're talking about them. But the point I'm making is, if you want to get paid, fuck relevance. Or if you want to make money, you need to be important and you need to prove things to the people who can pay you the money. It doesn't mean you need to be famous. It doesn't mean you got to have a lot of followers. It just means to the people who you want to get that reward from, that result, whoever can produce the result that you want or give you the result that you want, you need to prove what you can do to and for those people. It might be a 500 people on the whole planet of 8 billion people, 500 people who can help you make the money that you want to make. All right, so you don't need to be proving yourself to the other, those 7 billion plus who have nothing to do with that. You just got to prove yourself to those people. So first of all, you need to figure out, for me, what do I want is the first question. Secondly is, for me to get what I want, what do I have to prove? And the third question is, who do I have to prove it for? Where do I have to prove it? How do I have to prove it? What's the process for me proving that thing? When you have answers to those questions, now the next step is to move yourself to action and actually do something. Now, understand that next step, actually asking those questions might take you some time because you might need to gather some information. You might not know right now the answers to those questions. Go get the answers. All right, you're on the internet, all the information is out here. There are plenty of people out there who have probably already done what you want to do. Get the information, no excuses. Then, once you have the information you have answers to all those questions, the next thing is you got to take action on it. You might need to get better first. You might need to work on your game for a while. You might need to really learn that information and immerse yourself in it so you can really know it like the back of your hand. And again, that's not an overnight process. Then you got to go out there and prove it. And proving it might take you some time. I told you I graduated college in May of 2004. I didn't sign a contract till August of 2005. So you do the math on that. That's 15 months that I spent in the process to proving that I was capable of playing pro. And then I signed a contract at the end of the 15 months. I understand it wasn't 15 months of playing, 15 months before I even got a chance. So that's the proving it part. So think about what you need to prove in life in order to get what you want, how you need to do it, and then start getting into that process and understand it's not an overnight thing. Work on your game. Oh yeah, get my book, The Mirror of Motivation. I take care of the book. I paid for the book for you. All you gotta do is take care of the shipping. The link is right down there. Workonmygame.com/motivation. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com.